All right, so let's get started with our third week of 6 weeks. Can you guys believe we're halfway through? Who's excited that they've made it halfway through?
That's crazy.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun, right? So we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is host coaching. Anybody get afraid when they think about host coaching? Does it give anybody the little fear bumps? Yeah, some of you yes, some of you no. Okay.
Oh, sorry, you guys probably can't see me. It's dark. No.
Okay. Good, because how many times have you guys heard us say that host coaching is where you make your money, right? It's all about the Benjamins, right? It's where you make your money, guys. So you have to have some kind of system in place for your business in order to really take that one essential piece of your business and maximize it. So we're going to kind of do things a little differently tonight. This is not going to be as structured as normal, and not because we don't care, not because we didn't plan, but more so because we want some involvement from all of you guys so that we can really see where you guys are, where you have good systems and where we could help you to have better systems, right? So we're going to ask we had kind of talked with some of you guys about your favorite pieces of host coaching, things that some of you guys participated in Director Bound already with us, the program that we did before this one. So you guys already kind of went through some of the host coaching training with us. And so we want those guys that went through Director Bound to kind of share some of their takeaways or some of the changes and systems that they made. So let's see, where should we start, Megan? What do you think? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
No, I think we should pick on someone.
Let's see, who should we pick on first? We'll just get Jackie and Mike out of the way. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, so tell us what you guys, what were your takeaways? What kind of things have you decided you're going to kind of focus in on with your host coaching?
So one of the big things we're putting in our host packets is that guilt letter, the handwritten guilt letter. So, and Mike made out of cardstock, if you can see that, but a Mickey Mouse thank you, and then on the back it's just got lines. So I've been handwriting hi Liz, thank you so much, in that whole guilt letter that we have. So I haven't had a chance to implement it yet. They're going out, so we're gonna see how that works, and then we just really getting to know our host and taking it off of us. And I kind of treat my host kind of like I would treat my patients. I want to get to know them. I want to know what they want out of Pampered Chef, and seeing, okay, when you get $215 of Pampered Chef money, coming your way for free, what do you want to get?
Absolutely.
And then we kind of try to go backwards from there. And then the other thing we've also put in was to have them try and pick 3 people that would possibly book from their show. So
I love that. Can I just tell you guys why I love it so much? Because number one, the guilt letter, it ties it back to you, right? It kind of lets them know that you take your job, because this is a job, whether you guys believe it or not, this is a job. Some of you may think that you're a hobbyist consultant, but ultimately this is a job for you. So it lets them know that you take your job very seriously. The second part, is about the relationship. So you're bringing it back to them as a focus. And then the third part is how you're going to grow your business even more with your bookings. So I like that each one of your little systems is kind of touching on a really important piece of your business. So with your relationship building, how do you think that getting that wish list or idea of products that they want, how do you guys think that that's going to help you in host coaching?
Well, it can help to motivate them. Like we can always turn that around and say, okay, so you like our one friend, she had some life issues and she's scheduling again, but I went through it and I was like, she really wanted those salad choppers, like as like a little thing. I said, well, we can get like $300 of orders prior to the show. They're yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll just add them on, like just kind of give an incentive on like the smaller things. I know those are a little more expensive, but
right. So I'll tell you, one of the things I love about finding the host wish lists is a couple different things. It lets you know what they're really, really excited about in their party, right? So that you can kind of focus a little bit more on that product. So let's say I have a host that really wants the rock crock. So maybe at her party, I, do a rock crock recipe so that I'm showing her how to make a XYZ at her party. So not only am I putting that product into her kitchen, but I'm also starting her off on the right foot where she has a recipe that she can use to tool. So secondly, I think it's important to have a wish list from your host. And this applies to virtual or cooking, either one, because I think that when you have a host that is backtracking on you, meaning that they're not doing the job that we know that they should be, we can always take it back to the wish list. Okay. So Jackie, you really wanted that rock crock. And in order for me to get that for half price for you, we need to get your party to at least $200 in sales, right? So when you bring it back home to the item that they're really, really wanting, why they booked the party in the beginning, it's the best way to reel them back in, because then they remember, oh, that's right. That's why I wanted to do this party. Okay. So you can kind of use it, in both angles there. So what do you think, Megan? Anything else?
No, I definitely agree. And, especially if you are featuring something that your host really wants to own, chances are they have friends who are paying attention to that too. And so they'll be like, oh, my friend Heidi really wants this rock crock. She plans to make such and such in this and make mealtime so much easier. Maybe that's something I should look at too. So, don't forget that your friend, your host, is going to speak much louder and with more honesty, I guess, to their friends and their guests than you are as the consultant. So that's also a trickle effect. Not only are you using that product that your host wants to help motivate and keep reminding them of why they want to be doing that party, but it's also going to, trickle over to the guests in the party too, for wanting to book to get that product too.
Absolutely. Because remember, they're always going to listen to their friends before they listen to us.
For
right?
Sure.
Have you guys got that message loud and clear yet? The reason why with parties, both a cooking show or a virtual party setting, why it's so important to get engagement going and why it's so important to have those conversations below the post is because people are watching not for your responses, but for other people's responses. Okay. So the more that you can kind of draw out with questions, the more people are watching and the more their little red flags are going up in their minds that, oh, maybe I really need to look at this product a little bit more in detail. Maybe I need this in my kitchen. So I like what you pointed out though, guys. I'm glad that you kind of broke it into different areas. Was there anything else that had stood out to you guys?
Also to congratulate the host, like as you're like chatting with them throughout, like I had one that was doing a catalog show and she was struggling and I said, no, you're doing just fine. You just keep doing this. And, I just told her what a good job she was because she thought she was being a burden. And I was like, no, not at all. I'm here to help you. And just encouraging the host, because sometimes they get scared and they feel like they're letting you down, especially when you send them that guilt letter.
Right.
So like sometimes just reassuring them that, no, you just keep doing what you're doing and I'm here to help you. Just tell them what they've done well on. They tend to work a little harder.
Absolutely. Well, think about it yourself. How many of you guys, by show of hands, how many of you guys like to be encouraged? How many of you guys like to hear that you've done a good job? Okay. Who prefers to get called to the office and told what you've done wrong? Nobody.
That's fun.
Right? Nobody likes that. I always joke around at my shows that, that's the one piece about my business that I really love is because when I was in the real workforce, right, the only time I got called to the office is when I did something wrong, and being a stay-at-home mom, you don't get, congratulated or told a really good job at scrubbing toilets. So, when you're hosting a show, you know, most people don't get it. They don't get encouragement in real life, right? They don't get, you know, told that they're doing a good job in real life at their real life jobs. So for us as a host, that kind of, it just sends a different message to them. It's like, oh man, this person's really, really cares, really compassionate, you know? And again, it connects you a little bit deeper than just on a superficial level, I think. I always think about my kid, you know, when I think about Isaac, like, you know, yeah, he's not doing the best job in ELA right now, but I still need to encourage the things that he is doing well, you know? So the same can be said in our parties, you know, not every host, just because they don't end up with a qualifying show. I guarantee if you paid really, really close attention, that they've done something positive along the way that you can encourage them by, right? Awesome. All right, Megan, your turn to pick on someone.
All right. Well, okay, there's Candace. I was going to have Candace go first. Are you ready, girl? You're muted. There you are. Okay, so Candace also participated in the Director Bound last time. And I know that she's mentioned quite a few things, actually, that she's kind of tweaked and made better in her host coaching system. So I asked her to share.
Yay, Candace!
So one of the things that I really like, and I don't know why I was scared to do it, but I was scared to host coach and have the host do things. You know, I had it in my head for the longest time, like they're doing me a favor by hosting the party. So I should do all of the work. But then I just dove into it after Director Bound, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it on this party. And it actually was really easy. So with having the host post something every day, I had her post what her favorite Pampered Chef item was that she owned already, what was on her wish list, and just giving her tasks every day. And she did really well with it. But in doing that, I kept in contact with her every day, and I built that relationship with her. I did notice that there was more interaction on her posts than there was on mine. Because again, going back to, you know, they relate to their friend, their host, you know. And then she did not have a qualifying party, but I already had that relationship built with her, and I was able to book 2 parties off of hers because I asked her the question, you know, who do you think, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, just the daily post from the host, I think, is super important.
Absolutely.
Not only that, but I mean, even beyond, you know, what it does for the party turnout, like within that, but for Facebook algorithm purposes too, they're going to see the posts that your host put into the party, whether it's an event or a group, more easily than if it's just you who they don't have a relationship with on Facebook. Facebook is difficult sometimes. And so you have to use every single little trick in the book to get the results that you want. And one for sure trick is to make sure that your host is posting and commenting within their party page.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And tagging.
Yeah. Tagging.
Yes.
Yeah. And I kind of explained it to my team last week. I did a pop-up training with my team. If you guys think about, is anybody confused by algorithms and what that means as it relates to Facebook? So if you guys think about, you know, an EKG, right? If you think about a heartbeat, that's kind of what an algorithm is on Facebook. It's like a heartbeat, you know? So most parties, if you don't have interaction, you're kind of a flat line on a heartbeat, right? There's no beat going. There's none. But when you have the actual interaction, both from your host and the guest, it gives you the little peaks and the valleys and the peaks and the valleys, right? And the more interaction you get, the higher that peak is going to go. So that means the more present you are. So if you guys always look at, just find the heartbeat of every group that you have, whether it's your VIP or your party groups, if you do groups, that just remember the heartbeat, you know? So if it's flatline, how can I give a jolt? You know, how can I take the little, what do they call it? The paddles and shock the party. How can you do that? You know, there's lots of ways that you can do that. One would be to go live in there, because that actually gives a major jolt to the algorithms when you go live in a party setting. or if you had the host go live, that would be even better. Think about it this way too, that your host is actual friends with the guests in the party. So you're not friends with most of them, right? You might be friends with a couple of them from previous, parties. So they're automatically going to see that host posting versus you posting, because it's just going to be something that floods to the top of their news feed. The other thing I like about that though, Candace, is the fact that when you have a host posting every single day, what else should that be in your mind telling you? When you actually have a host that's doing what you're asking them to do.
A consultant.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I always look at that as the true test of whether somebody would be an amazing consultant or not. If they are coachable, right? And if they are actually doing what we're asking them to do, with not being, with no friction, because sometimes there's friction with it when you ask. So I think that that's a really important thing, because it's an easy conversation for me to then approach them becoming a consultant with. When I say, hey, Candace, just want to tell you, you've been doing a really good job posting those daily posts. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Because you're already doing it. So it's just that red flag. It's one of those things to kind of pay attention to. When they do it with no issues, they're your next consultant, guys, whether you want to think it or not. So what else, Candace? Anything else?
Let's see. Having her message the guests before the party. Whether they've clicked accept or decline or whatever. Because I don't know, but I feel like the ones who accept see the post more, or I don't know if they drop off. I don't know how that works now. But we definitely got more accepts by her sending that email, or not email, but message to them.
Message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We do the same thing. And I think I don't think that it actually creates more visibility. I don't know. Megan, do you think it creates more visibility? I think what it does is it's like a cooking show where you get a personal invitation to a cooking show, so you're more likely to pay attention to it. So when somebody gets a personal invitation to a Facebook group and they decide to join because they have to accept it, and they really want to be there.
Agreed.
They made that decision for themselves.
Yep. Because if you think about it, depending on what your host coaching dictates, because everybody's varies a little bit on the total number of guests that you want your host to start by inviting. But say it's one of 200 and you get that little notification pop up in your Facebook feed, like so-and-so invited you to Becky's Meals Made Fast party, right? If that is the only notification that you get, other than the automatic stuff that, Facebook sends you, like as a reminder, like, hey, so-and-so invited you, you haven't clicked accept yet, that kind of thing. There isn't a whole lot personally prompting you to say, okay, I'll go check this out. But if you get a personal message from Becky saying, hey, I just wanted to let you know I sent you an invitation to my Meals Made Fast party. I would love it if you came and scoped it out, right? That is so much more convincing, don't you think? If
Absolutely.
You add that personal element to it.
Absolutely. Yep, I do. I think, again, going back to the more personal that we can make our shows, the better the results are going to be. Whether something new that, me and my team just started working on was when I made our spring outline, because I spoil my people very, very bad. I'm so terrible. I'm a spoon feeder, Megan. Shoot me now. But one of the things I did with our new outline is I showed them ways that if it were me posting, what I would post versus a very generic post. So, I've showed them this is the post that you guys can do now, or you can personalize it to be like mine. So I have pictures of me with my products versus pictures of home office with products. So I think that the more that you can bring your voice or the host's voice to the party by sending a personal invitation or making it as personal as possible, when you do those things, you separate yourself from everyone else. You know, we separate ourselves as a company when we make it more personal than every other direct seller that's out there. Kind of like we talked about last week when we were talking about the fact that how many of you guys, you know, actually get that customer service after when you've done a direct sale party with other companies. It's the same thing with us. This is one more way that we can kind of step up our game and separate ourselves from the rest of the people out there. All right. So let's see. Where is Branda? Hello, Branda. Branda, how about you? What was something that you took away?
I would say, like Jackie and Mike said, making the connection with the host is the most important. So, like, you know what they want out of the party. Mm-hmm. And just, like, if they're so close, you know, to, like, the next level of free product, like, you can help keep them excited. And it's a way to know that they're excited to have the party. And making the call, like, the first initial call to the host, whether it be a call or like a face-to-face conversation with them, I think that's important too. That way they, like, if your host doesn't show up for the party, like, no, like you always say, Becky, no, their guests aren't going to want to be there either.
Right. Yeah. Tiffany would be so proud of you right now for saying make a phone call. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Megan, I'm sticking with you, girl. Tiffany, we love you. I got to give her crud. I'll give her props, though. I'm telling you, the girl if she makes a phone call with every single virtual party, I give her nothing but props for it.
Yes.
Woo,
Lots of points. You can have all the points.
Yeah. She can make all my phone calls. What do you guys think?
Yep.
That'd be awesome. So anything else, Branda?
I mean, really just like how important it is to do the host coaching was really my biggest takeaway. Because, like, I know when I first started, I'd like send 1 or 2 messages to my host, and then, like, even from Director Bound and being a part of another direct sales party that I was invited to, like, it makes you understand just how important host coaching is.
Yeah, for sure. So Branda just had her first cooking show the other night. We're super excited for her. Look at her page. So Branda, do you think that the process is a lot different between cooking shows and virtual parties?
I would say it's 50-50. Like, it is different, but you have to do just as much, like, especially with host coaching, as much host coaching as you do with a virtual party too.
Absolutely.
My situation was a little different with my host, but it's still important to do the host coaching because you got to make sure that they invite people to their house. You got to make sure just like what they want out of the party.
Absolutely. So I think sometimes that we think because it's a virtual party that we don't have to host coach. You think, Megan? Have you ever heard that, though? I hear that a lot, that people are like, host coach? What's host coach? It's a virtual party. If they show up, then yay. If they don't, they don't. And I'm like, okay.
Okay,
So,
I realize that, you know, some people maybe start a Pampered Chef business for the fun, like the social element of it. But I'm sorry, are you going to be having fun if there's nobody in the virtual party to even talk to?
Right.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it fun to hand your paycheck over to someone? Heather.
Is it fun to spend time planning a party of any type and have nobody show up to it?
No. I mean, think about it, Heather. If next week when you got paid from Amazon, what if I just said, hey, Heather, hand me your paycheck? Right? I did all this work for what? So that's really how I look at host coaching. Are you willing to hand your paycheck over to your host? Okay, so I want you guys to think about that, and most likely your answer is going to be no or should be no. And if it's not no, then we need to have another talk off of here, separate away from this, maybe over a glass of wine, because I don't know. But in reality, that's really what you're doing when you don't have a system in place to make sure you're getting the results with every single show, right? And I think the other important thing is to make sure you're consistent. No matter if it's a virtual party or a cooking show, they're pretty much almost the same. You know, the only difference really is that one's going to have ingredients that you're going to have to talk about, right? And one's got actual bodies coming to it. So for me, I think that they're very similar. I mean, me and Megan were talking about this earlier, and we have, you know, a form that we're going to show you guys, and really, they're very similar. The key is, are you doing it? You know, so if you're not doing it, that's definitely the piece of your business that I would say needs major evaluation. Okay. If you're not getting the results that you want from every single show, it always goes back to host coaching. Always.
All right, so we have one more to share, and Chas actually was not part of Director Bound, but she's coming off her biggest month of Pampered Chef since she started, and I know that she has definitely made some changes to her host coaching recently.
Awesome.
She's always kind of rocked at it, but I think she's really tweaked some things, so I asked her if she would share a few of her pointers, her tips.
Nice. Well, we're excited, whether you're new or not. I mean, if you're
Right.
rocking, we want to hear you.
Okay. So one thing I have my hosts do is, you know, they go and invite everybody, and then I also have them post on their personal wall that, hey, I'm having an online party. I would like to know what your favorite products are, or what the must-have products are. So that way, if, you know, you got invited, sometimes you see your invites and you don't accept and you forget about it or whatever. So this just makes them aware, and then they come back on, you know, the guests come back on, and then they accept the invite. Sometimes then I also, like, the day the party starts, I also have the host message everybody that has like hit scene and all the maybes to make sure that, hey, can you take her please? Sorry, 1 second guys, we just
Hashtag mom life.
I was getting ready to say the same thing.
we had swimming lessons tonight, so
Scary brains right there.
yeah. So, and then I have them message, and I give them the words to say, and then I have them send an image too. So like, I have them send the image and then the words, because you're more apt to open a message with an image, right? So I do that, and then they also have to like, other things that I have them do is I give them exact posts as to what to post word for word, and then the image during the party. So like, it gives me an idea of what the guests are in need of, and I always tell the host, post and then be the first one to comment. Like, one of the posts that they post is, what's your biggest headache in the kitchen? So so I feel like that really works, is they do like the interactive posts like that. And then
Absolutely.
Also, the last couple of parties, I've been having them post the thank yous opposed to me posting the thank yous.
Oh, I like that. That's a good idea.
Because
Oh,
most of the
yeah.
time you can't take the guests. You know, you write, thank you, Susie, thank you, Grace, thank you, Eddie, you know, and they're not seeing the thank you. So I had the guests or the host write the thank you with the image, and then I comment on their post.
Nice. That's a great idea. And again, it's more personal that way.
Right. And then on the, like, the night before or the day of the last day of the party, I have the host message everybody who hasn't ordered yet, and then everybody who had clicked maybe, hey, just a reminder, today's the last day of the party. Here's the party link.
Awesome. And evidently it's giving you results, right? So what kind of, when did you sign up? Because you're a new consultant, right?
No,
A
year.
Oh, okay. I thought you were new. Why was I thinking you were new?
I don't know.
Well, that kind of is new.
She signed up last January.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So-
tomorrow I'm going to close my largest party that I've ever had also.
There you go. There you go. That's awesome. It's so exciting. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I was on cloud 9 after February. Megan, I don't know, it was like 10 o'clock, I think, at night. I'm like, Megan, oh my God, you know? So, but yeah, after this party here, that's pretty awesome. It's currently, yeah, like the largest I've ever had. So it's pretty exciting.
That is exciting. You know, beat your best, right? I think every month we should always strive to beat our best. That's
Yeah.
what I believe in anyway.
My
I'm my
husband-
own, like, I'm my own, I compare myself to myself. That's terrible.
I'm very competitive with myself. Megan can
Yes.
attest for that too. I'm very competitive with myself. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'm very competitive with my husband because he told me, well, there's no way that you're going to reach February's amount. Really?
Never tell me I'm not going to do something. Never.
Yeah. Hold my beer.
Oh, goodness
Thank
gracious.
you for sharing, Chess.
Yeah,
You
thank
bet.
you guys so much. So I know we didn't ask everybody because not everybody participated in Director Bound, but I would love to hear, you know, quickly from those of you guys that didn't participate in Director Bound, if you guys have any tips or things that you're doing in your host coaching that are making your shows amazing. Or the opposite, if you feel like there's a certain question you have about host coaching that you need help with.
Maybe some specific area where you feel like what you've tried just hasn't worked, or you haven't found just that right way of doing something.
Right.
Crickets.
do, 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 do.
Oh my gosh, total random. I'm squirreling right now, but did you guys hear that Alex Trebek has like stage 4 pancreatic cancer?
I'm so sad.
I know.
I'm a total Jeopardy nerd.
I know, me too. I love Jeopardy.
Well, that
It
and
didn't
the
help my
fact
brain,
that
though.
Harry died too. I was like,
I know, right?
God.
It doesn't help my brain any because I'm still airheaded, but whatever. It's okay. Judge free zone, right? So nobody has anything else? No questions about host coaching that you feel you need help with, or any areas that you are just rocking it out and want to share tips with? Alrighty. So I feel, and I know Megan, the same thing, that we feel that you have to have some kind of system in place for yourself in order to effectively host coach. Because I think that, you know, where we say we host coach, sometimes it's not effective host coaching, meaning that we only do things half the way we should. We know there's 7 steps to our host coaching, but we're only doing 3 with one host, and we're doing 4 with another host, and we're doing all of them with another host. And so what you get from that is you get scattered results from every show, when in reality, if we focused on all 7 of those steps, you could have consistent results or effective results with every single show. So I'm going to screen share. And Megan, do you want to start with virtual for the Hosting 101?
Sure, I can.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's not the right slide, is it? Did it come up?
Yep. I see the Hosting 101.
Oh, that's so weird. It's showing me my other one. Okay.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. So Becky and I wanted to show this one to you guys because this is kind of all inclusive. It will show you basically every element of your host coaching, whether it is virtual or it's a cooking show. So let's go through some of the basics, okay? I'm just gonna pull mine up. Okay, you got it bigger, yay, thank you.
I'm playing here.
I was like, okay, I know I'm like reaching 37 here. I know maybe I need some glasses. Okay, so you guys, it walks you through this. It could not be simpler. So ready to pack a host packet, put the items below into a party planning folder or create a host packet, add a printed copy of the monthly host and guest flyers too. Now, I will say that right there off the bat, I do edit that. I like to save ink, so I will do the specials at a glance flyer if it is not like coming up on the 1st of a month. Like say it's the 28th of March and you're preparing packets for an early April show. Obviously that new consultant flyer portion isn't going to be in there because that's not going to be released until April 1st. But for the remainder of the month, I will do the specials at a glance because it gives everything on one page for you. Okay? Is anyone else doing that? Show of hands. Specials at a glance.
I do that for my parties, but I'll tell you, I don't send a flyer. So see, this is where we can have differences, but we all
Do you
find
do
it
them?
work.
Do you do them digitally, Becky?
I do. I just send
Okay.
digital pictures to them.
Okay.
I'm like tightwad just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. So I may be a little bit different, and you guys,
Yep.
I only send one catalog, actually, one full-sized catalog, because ordinarily I find that for virtual parties, most people are shopping online. So by sending 2 or 3 catalogs, they typically will go to waste. I do send a couple of mini catalogs. That way, if there is somebody who kind of wants a little snapshot of what's new and fresh from Pampered Chef and they want to actually page through something, they can page through a mini and it doesn't cost me as much as sending a bunch of full catalogs. Okay. And then obviously there's going to be that brochure. I just had one out here, but the new recruiting brochure. It's not called the Join Us anymore, I don't believe. What's it called, Becky?
The opportunity brochure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of what it's titled anymore, but, and then everybody gets a copy of the Kit Credit coupon. How important is that? Super, super important. I'll answer my own question. Yes, thank you. So even if, you know, maybe your host isn't going to be the one who's interested in that Kit Credit coupon. Maybe it isn't your current host, you know, who's going to take a look at that recruiting brochure. But guess what? If you're sending it, they can pass it on to somebody who might be interested, a friend, family member, coworker, that kind of thing. Okay. I do not send a guest special flyer. That one I just post digitally in the party. So that is one that I do skip the paper and the ink on. So
Love it.
yes. Plus it's in the specials at a glance if that's, you know, available for that party. For the first contact, I'm normally doing that. Ideally, you guys are doing that from when they've booked in a previous virtual party, right? So your first step is going to be to send them a friend request, because that makes it tons easier to operate a Facebook party if you happen to be Facebook friends, right? And depending on how far you book it out, you're going to want to interact with them on Facebook a little bit so that you are building that relationship and it's not necessarily just in messaging or in text. But it is definitely important to let them know that you're going to be sending them a host packet. I also send a postcard, and this basically just says, party. I can't wait to party with you and your friends. I'll be in touch as your party date gets closer. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. And then it just gives my contact information. So this, you can see, can be used for either a cooking show or a virtual party. I didn't specify on there. I just said, I can't wait to party with you and your friends. So this is just something a little bit different that pops into their mailbox, because who gets anything fun in the mail anymore? Nobody. And so that I typically will send out after I've sent out their host packet. So ideally their host packet is going out about 10 to 14 days before their party date. And then I'll send the postcard out about 7 days before their party date. Okay.
Love it. So,
And then, oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. Okay. So then I will make sure that they have received their host packet. I'll ask, hey, it looks like, because I ship priority mail, it ends up being less than having the host packet weighed. So, and then that way I can tell when it's going to be arriving to them, and I can say, hey, it looks like your host packet should have arrived today. I just wanted to make sure that you got it. And then that gives me an in to discuss with them what is in their host packet. Hey, just wanted to let you know that I put that Kit Credit coupon and our opportunity brochure in there. If you've ever thought about becoming a consultant, there's some great information in there. Okay, so that's also a recruiting seed, right? Not that we're talking about that, but that's part of your host coaching. It all kind of, yes, it all kind of intertwines.
On the way for you guys.
Right? Okay, so we also at this point, would talk about, hey, make sure you go through your catalog. This is yours to keep, so you can mark off, circle any products that look really wonderful to you. Let me know what you're really excited about. Because once you start to develop that wish list for them, then that's going to, again, like what Jackie and some of the others shared, that's going to help you keep them motivated throughout the party when you know what they want to be earning. Okay? And then obviously there's going to be some technical aspects to the virtual party where you're going to be setting up their Facebook page, whether it is an event or a group. You'd be setting that up in advance, letting them know when it's been created, when they can start inviting their guests, providing verbiage in that situation. Okay? Everybody following me so far?
We're with you, sister.
Okay. And then our final check-in before the party. So you're just making sure that they're ready to go, that they're clear on the instructions that you'll be giving them throughout the party. Very similar to what Chas said, go figure, since she's on my team, but I will let them know, hey, your job is really simple. Basically, I want you to pretend like this party is in your kitchen. I want you to interact with your guests, comment if they post something. I will have one simple little post for you to share each day. And then my wording, you guys, is always the same throughout the party. Hey, anytime it works for you today, I would love for you to share about a product that you already own and love or something from your wish list. Grab a picture of it from the website and share why you're excited about it. I could say that in my sleep because I say it to every single host multiple times during the party.
And it's simple.
It's simple.
It's simple. Love it.
Okay, so we are in the party. We've got them doing their host tasks. This part isn't on the sheet, but so basically, like some of the others shared too, you're going to be interacting with them at each level of sales that they hit, okay? Hey, you're at $100, you're halfway toward a qualifying party. Hey, you're at 200, you're officially into host rewards. Guess what happens at 300, you guys? Get credit! Yes. And you sound excited, right? And then guess what happens at 400? $50 in credit, yes. And so on and so forth, because you always want to be excited, okay? One of the things that I wanted to share with you guys, and I did actually pull up an image because I'm dorky like that, but so very,
You want me to stop share so you can show it?
Oh, sure, that would work. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's not like it's rocket science or anything.
It's okay. How many of you guys are visual people? I'm a visual person. I like to see things.
Yes. Okay, so you're seeing that?
Yep.
So this is something that very basic, very simple, you guys, but this is something that I try to keep in mind every single time I go into a party and I'm working with a host. Somebody who feels appreciated will always do more than is expected. Now, you think about the little tasks that you give to somebody, but there's a little element that I forgot to tell you about. What do you think that might be? When your host has done those little things that you tell them to do, go in and tell them thank you. Go in and compliment them on what they've done. Sound excited about the fact that, hey, a bunch of their friends have commented on their post, right? Because that is that encouragement, that reinforcement that some of the others mentioned. And it keeps them moving forward.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay.
It's yours, Becky girl.
Oh, thanks. Everybody awake? Do we need to take y'all's pulse too? Okay. So we're going to talk about cooking shows. I know most of you guys, for the most part, are a lot of virtual consultants. But I think that, if you really want to stretch this year, kind of like Brenda did, dive into the world of cooking shows. They're so much fun.
And really, it should be everybody's goal to have a well-rounded business.
Absolutely.
You don't want to have all of your skill be in one area, because if there is ever a time when you're super frustrated with cooking shows, or say you're super frustrated with virtual parties, you can say, you know what? I'm going to take a little break from virtual parties and I'm going to do some more cooking shows.
Most definitely. And I can tell you just from someone that does a large amount of cooking shows that, I get tired of being in kitchens once in a while. And so like in December, I stepped up my virtual parties and kind of backed down my cooking shows. And I did that for a lot of other reasons too, because I really wanted to focus on this year training my team better and being a better director for them. And so I decided to do that I had to sacrifice somewhere. And so I've scaled down the amount of cooking shows where I used to do 12 to 14 a month. Now I'm only doing 6 to 8 a month, which feels like I'm on vacation all the time. But you know, there's nothing like, for me, it's an adrenaline thing. You guys can already tell I love attention. I like to talk too. So, you know, for me, there's nothing like being in front of people, and I'm like a teacher at heart, I think. So I love to teach people. And so I don't get the same personal satisfaction from virtual parties as I do cooking shows. But I love both styles of shows because they offer something completely different to me. So cooking shows for me, this flyer doesn't pair perfectly with how I do my host coaching. But I will tell you, it's a pretty close, you know, almost comparison of what I do. For my host packet, very similar to what's on here. I do the folders because I think it's worth the extra expense to buy the folders from Pampered Chef. Then I'm not printing, you know, the extra papers for the planning portion of it. I send normally 2 catalogs for a cooking show unless they request more catalogs. I do put mini catalogs in there also because, again, I want them to be able to, you know, leave those at the office or pass those at church or whatever. The pack of invitations is, for me, where, again, this is part of the host coaching for me, to kind of get a feeler for my hosts of what ways we're going to invite for their parties, okay? So I find that most of the time, probably 90% of my cooking shows, if I put invitations in there, most of the time when I go to do the show, they hand me the packet invitations back because more people nowadays are digital. And so I try to make sure that I have a way to help them touch people in a lot of different areas. So I will never, stress this word, never let Facebook be the only way that we invite, because Facebook is not reliable, as you guys know. And again, I don't want to hand my paycheck over to my host. And so it's my job to make sure that they understand that we need to invite in multiple ways. The opportunity brochure and the kit credit are an absolute must. Okay. So the first contact for me is, again, normally once they've received their host packet, then I can make sure that, of course, you know, I've already confirmed their date. So let's start at the beginning. So normally about 3 weeks out from the party, I confirm their party date, 3 to 4, actually probably more like 4 weeks. I confirm that their party date is good still. Let them know that I'm going to mail out their host packet to them. Please let me know when it arrives, you know, so that we can have have a conversation about it. I don't do phone calls. I know that sounds terrible. Once in a while I do, but again, it depends on the host, because you pretty much get a sense for someone that likes to be on the phone or wants to message. And again, that's something when I book a show at a show, I ask them right there, do you prefer a phone call or do you prefer messaging? Again, 90% of my people are messaging or text messaging. And so I roll with that and I'm like, praise Jesus. Thank you, Lord. So then I let them know the host packet's going to arrive. When the host packet arrives, I just simply, again, it's a simple conversation. Let them know that they're going to want to invite at least 40 people. We want to invite more than one way. And simply because just like they have a preferred method, their friends will also. Okay. So if they want to mail invitations, I actually prefer to mail them for my hosts versus them mailing it. And really, because then I can make sure that the invitations got mailed when they said that they want to mail invitations. And so I will actually do that work for them. I'm going to stop here for a second and show you guys the other thing that I do. I use Canva, and so I create a digital invitation for my hosts, and I will send this to them. And they can either message this out through Facebook Messenger, or they could also text message this out. Okay, so it's kind of a save the date. What I like about it is the fact that it's going to have all of the pertinent information as far as the party goes. And then, of course, it's got the shopping link at the bottom down here. And so if people are not able to make the party, it's easy for the host to say once they reply, back from a text message or a messenger message, for them to say, oh, okay, well, if you want to order, the link is down at the bottom there for you. You can go there. That'll connect you to my show. Bam, easy. They can order. I think the simpler we can make a process, the more people are receptive to it. So if a show feels like work, your hosts are going to be turned off. And so the more work that we can take away from them, the better results I feel that I always get from it. So that same photo, I also tweak for my virtual parties so that my host can send that out either in Messenger or also post on their personal wall. Something similar. All right, so let's go back to the host coaching document. Where did it go? It's hiding on my screen. There's too many screens open. Wait a minute. Is it up on your screen?
Mm-mm.
No. Well, hold on a second here.
Could you give me Tylenol? Por favor.
Por favor, she said.
Oh. Come on.
All right, now can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Yay! Let me zoom in. I'm singing. You guys better run.
Perfecto.
Okay, so again, you want to go back to the whole 40 idea. So kind of like with Facebook parties, the more people that you can get to the group, you're still going to have that ratio that are actually going to participate. So the cooking show is very similar. So if you invite 40, you're going to get about a quarter of them that actually come to the party. So that's why you always want to over invite. So it all boils down to numbers. If the host only invites 10 people, guess how many people are going to actually be at the show? You're going to have like 2 people there. And 2 people of the 2, 1 is not going to show up last minute. So you'll end up with 1 person. Okay. So you'll be sitting down at it. I know. You'll be sitting down having dinner with 2 people because you'll feel guilty and actually eat at your party. Speaking from experience. So that's really that first phone call, or not phone call. I'm not even live. That's that first message though, going through the host packet, of course, offering the business opportunity, talking about the kit credit, and the stressing the over inviting process of it. The second contact is, again, for me, it's just follow up. I'm continuously in message with my hosts. I really don't follow a 1, 2, 3 for contacts because I want to build that relationship as much as I can. So I normally message with my host at least 7 to 10 times probably before the party. And it's not always about their party. Okay. So it's simply about life and getting to know them. If I've seen something on their Facebook wall, commenting back on that, just making it as personal as I can get it. So I think that you can do the same thing with your virtual parties. Watch, if you have 5 hosts that are hosting a party for you, watch their Facebook wall, send them a private message. If they've got something going on in life, let them know you're thinking about them. Don't always make it about their party, right? Make it about the relationship.
And not only does that help you get to know them as a person, maybe how you would want to talk about, the business fitting into their life later on. But even for the party itself, if you make it personal and build that relationship with them leading up to the party, guess what happens a lot less? They will cancel and reschedule on you far less if you have built a good relationship with your host before leading up to their party.
Absolutely. I have found in the last 8 years that 9 times out of 10 people cancel because they're not connected to you when they feel a sense of, oh my gosh, this is my friend. Not just, oh my gosh, this is my Pampered Chef consultant. They're not going to cancel on you if it's a deeper relationship. Okay. So second contact on here, it says discuss party recipe, check in with RSVPs, how that's coming along. Again, I don't talk recipes until almost right before the show. And I'll tell you why here in a second, but I'm continually asking how they're doing on RSVPs, how many people are confirmed at this point, blah, blah, blah. And for me, the key words are this, guys. It is not, so how many people are coming to your party? It's how many confirmed guests do you have coming to your party? Because there's a difference between Megan saying, oh, I've got 15 people coming to my party, or I've got 5 confirmed guests. They're completely different animals, okay? Confirmed to me says that that person has told Megan that they're coming to her party for sure. Megan telling me I've got 15 people coming to my party means that Megan's asked 15 people to come to her party. Okay, there's a difference. So confirmed guests, key sentence. So one here, third contact again is more about following up, confirming the address and time of arrival. I don't ask for Wi-Fi password and all that jazz because I'm a paper girl when it gets to my parties. I don't do anything fancy at my parties because I want my job to look as simple and easy as possible. I do also create, similar to the digital invitation you guys seen, I send my host 3 days out from the party a reminder post that she can message out to her friends again. And the verbiage is just a little bit different. It's just a reminder. Again, it has the link on the bottom of it so that, again, it's an easy way for her to touch base with her people instead of, it being so much work. At the 3 days before the party, for me, that is critical, okay? Why is it critical for me? Because at 3 days, when I ask her how many confirmed guests there are, you have a better idea of how many people am I feeding, so I can choose a recipe, okay? And then also, if my host tells me I have 5 confirmed guests, my hair is on fire, which is why it's frizzy. But that's when Becky gets down to crunch time and is like, okay, how can we brainstorm to get more people? So your 5 guests that are coming to your party, can you call them and ask them to bring a friend along, okay? You still have time to be reactive, okay? Be proactive and reactive at the same time, because 5 is not going to give you what you need from your party, okay? 5 is just not going to do it typically. Because again, remember that a quarter of the 5 is not going to actually come to the party. It always happens. So then you're down to the party. So good night, sweetheart. I love you. There is a tracker. I'm just going to show this because I know we're almost out of time, that you can print off on Consultants Corner to help you along with tracking your cooking shows. And you could definitely manipulate this a little bit for virtual parties too, I think, to make it actually work for your business. This is under Pampered Chef University, up under host coaching, and over on the side tab, it's the 3rd tab down. If you click that, it'll open up and it's right there, okay? But I'll post this later. Excuse me, my gosh, bubbles. I'll post this later in the group too, so you guys can just print it if you want it.
Guess what time it is?
Homework time!
Homework. All right, you guys. So I'm going to share our homework page. Pretty basic this time. So that wonderful, well, first of all, obviously, if you were watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Post one takeaway on the homework post. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so on to number 2. That lovely Hosting 101 form that Becky and I both shared off of, we want you guys to print that from Consultants Corner. We will share the link on the 6 Weeks to Success group. But we want you to know that the resources are there, you guys. It's a matter of taking what Pampered Chef offers that's very basic and can get you started. And then as you go, you can make the tweaks and add and take away as needed, okay? So we want you to take a look at that Hosting 101 page. Think about how you want to apply that to your business, whether that's virtual parties, whether that's cooking, whether that's a combination, whatever it may be, and really start to use that consistently with every single show, okay? And then complete your weekly 15 two-way contacts and complete your weekly check-in with your director. Pretty manageable,
That's not that bad.
right? I know.
Homework assignment. That's like nothing. You don't even have to listen to a call. Oh my
right?
God.
Super basic this week.
Oh,
I felt a little guilty after the chicken list last week.
Why did you feel guilty? You shouldn't feel guilty about that.
Well, you know, maybe we'll have a cakewalk week after we had like the really hard week. But.
Yeah, we're giving you guys a little break, letting you refresh your minds. Okay, so to come back into this next week, we think some of you guys are kind of like, because we're halfway through. Anybody feel like that yet? Anybody feel like a little stressed out, feeling like they need a little bit of a break? Well, this is your week to kind of soak it up and take it. Just a little bit, not too much. But I would be excited to see if you guys printed out that Hosting 101 form. If you took a little pin to it and kind of tweaked it on your own, like what would you change? What lines would you draw? You know, where would you put your own personality into your system? I'd be excited to see if some of you guys actually took it to that step and showed us what you're going to do and how you're going to personalize the system to you.
Ooh, a little bonus challenge.
I love bonus challenges. Anybody like bonus challenges? I know my girl Carolyn does. Carolyn likes a challenge. She's like, what?
She's looking at you with worried eyes.
I know. That's okay.
All right, you guys. Week 3.
Week 3. Anybody excited? Halfway through? All right. Did I share or did you share?
I think I did. Here. I will stop share. There we go.
I was like, I'm sitting here clicking. I'm like, what the heck did I do?
We are stuck on the homework page, Becky.
So do you guys have any questions for us? Any questions or concerns or comments? Anything you liked about tonight's training? Was it nice to get to hear from your peers? We want some feedback. Feedback?
I like hearing different ideas, especially this training and, you know, having Megan, but you as well, Becky, like, and then everyone else and Chaz and everyone else who shared. I like hearing different aspects.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, you know, as we sit here, believe it or not, I take notes. I'm a major note taker. Like I've got 3 notebooks. My team knows I have a notebook for everything. And I take notes. So even myself, I pick up ideas off of you guys. And so I have like 5 notes there. So thank you guys for giving me, you know, some different ideas and things too, because, you know, the day that we stop learning, you might as well pack it up and go home. Right. That's always been my philosophy with any kind of job I've ever had, is the day I stop learning, it's time for me to move on. Because, you know, I think that the more that we learn and we're constantly evolving, the better off, the better consultant I can become. So awesome. I'm excited. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to stop the recording. Last chance. Going once. Going twice. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.